Seen two grown adults go to war over 1 inch of dirt I have, and let me tell you, I didn't start it. Nope. It all kicked off with a laser pointer the kind a cat might chase, except this one came attached to Steve, a surveyor who charged $300 an hour just to point at things and make problems appear. I was standing there, still in my pajama pants, mug of coffee glued to my hand, watching Steve squint and drag that little red dot along my old cedar fence right up until it landed square on a post that had been standing since the Bush administration. Now, Steve didn't show up alone. He brought Brenda with him. You know Brenda, even if you don't know her by name. Maybe she's got a different haircut. Maybe she lives down the street. But every neighborhood's got a Brenda. She's the one who can tell you what day trash gets picked up by the brand of the truck tires. Brenda, that morning, looked like she'd rolled out of a garden supply catalog, floral blouse, so tight it might have been spray painted on arms, crossed lips pressed into that kind of smile you see right before a dentist gives you bad news. Steve fiddled with his hard hat, which was about as useful as an umbrella in a hurricane. Technically, he sighed, dragging out the syllables like he wanted me to know how much this hurt him. The post is encroaching. Brenda made a noise that should not exist in polite company, half gasp, half something else. I knew it. She squealed, eyes on Steve. Not me. Jack, I told you. I sipped my coffee. Lukewarm figures. All right, Steve, give it to me straight. How much are we talking, foot, 2 feet? He looks at his little machine, then at me, then at the fence. 1.2 inches. I blinked. Once. Twice. Steve, are we really doing this? For an inch. An inch is property, Jack, Brenda snapped, pouncing on the moment like a cat on a laser dot. You're stealing. That's theft. Plain and simple. At that point, I tried reason, always my first mistake. Brenda, squirrels drag nuts through your yard that are bigger than that encroachment. Can't we just, I don't know, sign a waiver? I'll mow your lawn for a month, buy you a bottle of wine. She bristled, clutching her pearls, real pearls, at 8 a.m. on a Tuesday because, of course, it's about boundaries. If I give you an inch tomorrow, you take a yard. Next thing I know, you're building a guest house in my gazebo. No, I want my land back. Steve hands me a bill that made my checking account whimper, then hands Brenda a certified plot map like she just won the lottery. You have until the end of the month to rectify the structure, or I involve the association and the lawyers. Have a blessed day, Jack. Her heels click away, each step a ticking clock. That was the beginning, the day 1 measly inch of dirt became the most famous plot in the whole county. First week I ignored her. She can't possibly be serious, I thought. Nobody sues over an inch of earth. I grilled burgers, waved at Brenda. She didn't wave back, just took notes, went to work. Then the letter arrived, one of those heavy, expensive envelopes that practically screams bad news before you open it. Notice of violation and demand to cure from a law office with a name that sounded like a punchline. It said my fence was illegally encroaching on Brenda's domain. If I didn't fix it in 30 days, I'd owe $500 a day, plus damages, plus legal fees. $500 per day. I slammed the letter on the kitchen island, blood boiling not just at the money, but the pettiness of it. I looked out at my fence, solid wood supporting honeysuckle vines, survivor of hurricanes and pressure washers. It was innocent, but it needed a champion. Enter Big Mike, contractor friend, part-time philosopher. He's 6'4", shaped like a vending machine, hates two things, cheap drywall and HOAs. Mike shows up chewing a toothpick, sizes up Brenda's neon orange survey markers, and gives my fence post a mighty kick. Solid. Concrete 3 feet down. Can't we just nudge it? I asked. Mike gave me a look, one I'd seen before, usually when someone tries to pay him in beer. Jack, to move it 1 inch, I gotta dig up the whole footing. Break the concrete, redig every post along the line, pour new concrete. 60 feet of fence. 6, maybe 7 grand all in. And Brenda, she'll watch like a hawk. She'll make me redo it if I'm off by a millimeter. Gotta charge a Brenda tax. That was my vacation fund, my truck repair fund. Hell, my treat myself to a steak fund. I said I'm not paying it. Mike shrugged. She sues, you lose. You pay the fence and her lawyer. Or you just remove it. Letter says remove or relocate the structure. Don't say you gotta put one back. My brain, which usually runs on movie quotes and useless trivia, finally sparks. If I take it down, then what? No fence, just open yard? Yep. Legally, it's fine. Just yard. And hey, you could have as many guests as you want. As long as it's not a business, it's your property. Dogs, too. Just follow leash laws. I spent the next 3 nights mainlining caffeine and city code. There it was, no law requiring a fence, no limit on guests or dogs. The loophole wide open. Pole. I called Mike. We're taking the fence down. Bring the crew. Bring the sledgehammers. Saturday, 7 a.m. sharp. Once it's gone, Mike warns everyone can see everything. That's the point, Mike. And see if you can find a fire hydrant. Red. Saturday, the birds were singing at least until Mike's crew fired up the saws. Brenda was watching blinds twitching. By 9, the fence was gone. My yard looked huge. But Brenda's, well, hers looked awfully exposed. Brenda charged outside in a robe, horrified. Where is the fence? You're supposed to move it. I did moved it to the dump, I shouted over the noise. You can't just take it down. I have no privacy. It was my fence, Brenda. You said to remove the encroaching structure. I complied. Legally, totally. I'm a good neighbor. She stammered, face redder than Mike's new hydrant. What is that? Art, I grinned. And the mulch, low maintenance, eco-friendly. She looked at her now exposed patio at my open yard and said, You're insane. Now you have no privacy either. I got nothing to hide, Brenda. Do you? She stormed back inside, slamming her glass door. Mike, sweating, mounted the poop bag dispenser. Ready for business, he announced. I opened next door and Facebook drafted my post. Free private dog park open 24/7. Hey neighbors, due to a recent property line dispute, my backyard is now open to all good boys and girls. Freshwater tennis balls, a brand new fire hydrant. Please respect the boundary of my neighbor Brenda. She really values her inch. I posted a photo, mulch hydrant gleaming. Mike cracked a beer, grand opening's gonna be wild. It was first customer in 14 minutes. 2 Goldens, Buster and Bailey, exploded out of a van, lost their minds at the mulch, barked with joy. Is this for real? The owner asked. Absolutely, I said. Let 'em run. By noon, the place was packed. Dogs of every shape and size, people laughing, kids throwing balls. The sound traveled right onto Brenda's porch where she tried and failed to run her bridge club. Brenda lost it when Buster got too close to her imported garden gnome. Get that animal away from my petunias, she shrieked. He's on my property, Brenda, enjoying the amenities. I'm calling the police. Please do, I waved. Maybe they'll pet a dog. It's good for the blood pressure. Sure enough, blue lights flashed. Officer Miller, who once took my truck theft report, stepped out. Brenda, already halfway up his leg, screamed, Arrest him! Shut it down, it's a riot. Miller, mustache grayer, now took it all in, mulch hydrant tripod, the pit bull humping a poodle. Afternoon Jack. Officer Miller, soda, hot dog. He's bribing an officer, Brenda screeched. Ma'am, Miller sighed. I need to assess the situation. Jack, this is just friends, not a business. Free as air, officer, I'm losing money on treats. He decibel checked the noise legal. Looked at Brenda. No law against gatherings as long as the dogs stay on his side and no one's charging money. It's a free country. Brenda looked ready to combust. Stormed back inside. Miller smirked, scratched tripod's ears. Keep it legal, Jack. As he drove away, the crowd cheered. Someone handed me a beer. For a second, I felt like William Wallace if Wallace fought for off-leash golden retrievers. Then came Gary, the HOA president, clipboard and all. Jack, you're in violation, nuisance aesthetics, commercial activity. We've been over this with the cops, Gary. Not a business, just a club. $50 a day fine retroactive to yesterday. I handed him a crisp $100 right onto his clipboard. Covers me through today. Want a burger? Gary realized in that moment fines only work if you care about the money. And I cared more about winning than my wallet. $50 a day cheaper than therapy. But Gary gave me an idea if peaceful enjoyment mattered during the day. What about at night? I checked quiet hours start at 10 p.m. I called Mike. I need stadium lights. Tasteful solar motion activated. By Tuesday, my yard glowed like an airport landing strip. I updated the post. Now open for night shift. Quiet hours enforced after 10. Whisper mode only. The insomniacs came. The shift workers. Dogs padded silently across mulch under the lights. Brenda watched from her window curtains, twitching. The anticipation of barking was worse than the noise. After days of this, after the mud, a week's rain, 1,000 dog paws, Brenda's power-washed patio splattered with glorious brown goo, Brenda finally broke. She trudged out to the property line exactly 1 inch away. What will it take, she asked hollow-eyed, to close the park? Well, Brenda, I'd need a new fence, nice one. Vinyl, 6 feet privacy. Permit fees, survey fees, HOA fines wiped. She closed her eyes. Fine, but it has to be on the original line. I want my inch back. Nope. The original line or I keep the park open. Your call. She slumped. Fine. Take the inch. Just make them go away. Sunday we threw a closing party keg for the humans, hot dogs for the dogs. I gave a speech from atop the fire hydrant. We laughed, we barked, we annoyed the HOA, but all good things must end. The tyranny of the open concept is over. Next morning, Mike's crew put up a white vinyl fence, 6 feet high privacy panels. Brenda wrote the check with shaking hands, $8,000. Mike winked at me. Want me to measure that line? Nah, just eyeball it. If we're off by an inch, that's what neighbors are for, right? Brenda just closed her blinds. The new fence was a monument stark white, blocking my view of her patio forever. Silence, glorious silence settled over my yard. The fire hydrant stayed. The mulch stayed. My victory was complete. And I swear every time Brenda looks out that window, she knows she paid for her own prison. Me, I got my yard back, my quiet, and my inch. I even kept the hydrant. You ever wonder where the line is between being right and being happy? Maybe it's somewhere in the dirt between two backyards, or maybe it's in letting go. But sometimes when pettiness meets persistence, karma shows up with a fire hydrant and a crowd of muddy golden retrievers. So, what do you think? Did I go too far, or did Brenda get what she deserved? Where's the real line, justice, revenge, or just neighborly chaos? Drop your thoughts below. And if you've ever had a neighborly feud, I want to hear your story. Let's settle this in the comments 1 inch at a time.
Cảm ơn các bạn đã xem video.